Radio knows how to podcast. Roadium Radio knows how to podcast. In the city of Wilmington, we keep it rockin'. So come on, shake it for me, Kelly.
Yeah, Dr. Dre is in full effect, and I gotta tell y'all a little something. Eazy-E is down with us. MC Ring, you know he's down with us. DJ Yella is down with us. Arabian Prince, you know he's down with us. Tony A the Wizard is down with us. JJ Fag is down with us. Timmy T, you know he's down with us. DJ Pooh Boy is down with us. Toddy P and Spade, they're down with us. My boy Ice Cube, you know he's down with us. I like to mention, so pay attention to where I'm from, Compton, but the tapes are from the Roadium. My name is Dre, listen while I play. And by the way, I'm also down with NWA. Yo, Steve at the Roadium is down with us. Slanging funky tapes, it is a must. We're number one.
Tony A. Tony A. When you're ready, go.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Roadium Radio, and I'm your host, Tony A. the Wizard, episode 35. Before I introduce my guest, once again, I want to thank everybody that has submitted their videos to roadiumradio@gmail.com. Those of you that have seen the documentary, I asked for you guys to send in 20 to 30 second video of what you guys thought, your opinion about the documentary. Once again, I want to thank everybody for ordering the CDs. I have just a few left of the 4-pack, but you could also buy these three individuals, which is High C, 24/7, 86 in the mix. Reason why I offer them as threes because I'm running out of 88 booming bass. So I think I have maybe like 10 more 4-packs. So if you want to get that, go ahead and get that at DOCUMIXERY.com, and you can also watch the documentary there, unlimited streaming. Once again, we are on all platforms, and as a matter of fact, if you don't find us on all platforms, let us know and we make sure to put it on every platform out there. And my other announcement was we just booked some more artists. We're starting to work on our May schedule. We got a lot of great artists. A lot of people have been requesting. I'm just waiting now on some of the artists to actually give us their dates, and we'll book them. Once again, Roadium Radio episode 35. Without further ado, please allow me to introduce my next guest, all the way from Santa Maria to 805, none other than DJ Dominator. Thank you, my brother. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me, homie.
You know what? I'm going to start this off a little bit different, okay? Just a little bit different. Did you watch the fight last night?
No, I missed it.
Really?
I missed it.
Okay.
I was prepping for the interview.
Good. I got some good questions for you. The fight was actually good. I really enjoyed it. I think boxing is pretty much bullshit now, but this one actually kind of lived up to the hype. So I was really happy for it because I'm more of a Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, Julio Cesar Chavez type of fan, you know, when it comes to boxing.
Yeah, I like classic boxing.
Yes. Now, quick question. What's a good movie you've seen lately?
A good movie that I've seen, I watch a lot of classic movies.
Okay, like...
But you mean a newer movie?
A new movie.
Well, I was telling you, let me think of I like that, the one with the Goodfella dudes. What's that new?
Oh, The Irishman.
The Irishman.
Okay.
I like that movie. It's a little bit long for my taste, but
I like long movies.
I think they could have condensed it just a little bit, but I thought that was a dope flick.
That one I fell asleep like 3 times, woke up and it was still on, but I enjoyed it.
Joe Pesci.
Yes.
I think he killed it.
Did you watch The Joker?
He killed it. No, not yet.
Okay. Don't believe the hype. People gave it a 10. I gave it a 5. I just thought it was kind of cool. You know, a lot of people thought it was amazing. But other than that, now on the way...
I'll watch it on Kodi then.
Yes. Fire stick, homie. On the way over here, what were you bumping? Were you bumping any kind of music?
We were bumping a bunch of deep funk. Actually, I was bumping my boy DJ Wicked's mixes.
Okay.
He does some deep funk mixes.
Okay, I need to get my hold of those because I like that kind of music as well too.
Yeah, like deep funk. You know what I mean? I mean, I like the mainstream funk, but some of that deep shit, it's, you know, it's kind of like hearing new shit back then when you heard it.
Right. Okay.
I like a lot of deep funk.
Now, I know you're from Santa Maria, so is that pretty much where you were raised at?
Actually, I'm from Nipomo.
From where again?
Nipomo.
Nipomo, okay.
And I moved out to Santa Maria a little bit later. I live in Santa Maria now, but I'm from Nipomo.
And how long did you live there?
In Nipomo?
Yeah.
We moved to Nipomo in 85.
Okay.
Yeah.
85.
I remember because Lisa was on the radio at that time.
And where were you born at, man? What city?
I was born in Santa Maria.
Santa Maria. Then you moved to?
I was born in Santa Maria, and we moved to a place called, at the time it was called Grover City. Now it's called Grover Beach.
Okay.
By Pismo.
Okay.
About by the Pismo area. And then from there, around 85, that's when we moved to Nipomo, and then I was pretty much raised in that area.
In that area.
Yeah.
Okay. Back in the day, growing up as a teenager, what was it like during that time, man? What can you do out there for fun?
Well, around that time when we moved there, I remember I'd walk outside and a lot of kids had cut up cardboard outside on their driveways, and they were spinning on their backs, and they had stereo systems out, bumping stereos, pop locking, doing. For me, that's what I like. I didn't play football. I didn't play any sports until a little bit later when I got older. I liked to play handball. That's about it, Doug. I didn't play any sports. I didn't do anything, but I sure did like breakdancing. I mean, that was part of my introduction to, that movement.
Right. Wow, that's dope, man. That's dope. I mean, I think breaking for me came in when I was like around, I'm a little bit older than you, so I was like around 7th grade when I first saw it spread like wildfire,
Right.
And of course, during that time, nobody was really breakdancing to hip hop, because hip hop was still fairly new. It was almost like Let's Sheet, Good Times, Yellow Magic Orchestra, computer games, or Cameo or whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Nucleus, Jam on It, Clear,
more the electro funk stuff.
electro funk, and they were getting down to that shit.
That's dope. Now,
Yeah.
what about you? You ever breakdance?
I thought I could. I like to mess around with pop locking. I was never really that great at it, but I like to break down pop lock in the mirror.
Okay. Now, for those that are fans of yours, because believe me, a lot of people, before we actually even booked this, a lot of people were requesting. They would start off with get somebody from the 805, get somebody from the 805. But you were the number one guy. They were always requesting DJ Dominator on whether it was Facebook, whether it was Instagram, or whether it was YouTube. DJ Dominator. Okay, cool. Don't worry, I'm gonna get him. But of course, at that time I was only doing Wednesdays.
Right.
And then I added the Sundays.
Yeah, I like Sundays.
Yeah, me too. But
I'm sure most of your guests like Sundays.
You know what? A lot of people that live close, they don't mind Wednesdays because they pretty much, I'm used to the traffic. So
yeah, it's a mission.
Yeah.
For me, it was a mission to get down here. Not that bad, 3 hours.
Right. I remember Night Owl from San Diego. Much love and respect.
That was
to
a
him.
dope interview.
Yeah, he was one like, dude, you got to get Dominator. Magic Girl was another one. You got to get Dominator. He's dope. He's like family, etc. Shadow. There was just so many people.
Those are all my people.
Yeah. That were just constantly, you need to get Dominator. You were really, really highly requested. And I know why. You're a talented dude. But most people were saying he needs to get a shine. It's about time that somebody interviews him. It's about time that we know more about him. And that's why I like doing these, because I want people to get to know you more as a person than just as an artist, So
I haven't done an interview in over 10 years. It's been
Really?
over 10 years since I've done it. I stay locked up in the studio working I'm a workaholic when it comes to music, so I don't get out very much to do interviews. So I'm glad to be out here talking.
Now let me ask you this: why do you think, or why is it that you don't give yourself 2 more interviews? Is just you just don't like it?
You know what? I don't mind them actually. I'm such a workaholic that I stay stuck in the creative mode all the time. Right now my brain's creating. I can't stop it. I can't stop that from happening. So I'd rather be in the studio. Yeah, I'd rather be in the studio.
Okay.
Working. But I still like the interviews.
Right.
I have to push myself for things like that, because
Right.
I've been given a lot of opportunities I haven't taken.
Okay.
And that's part of the reason why I'm not in the shine the way I should be or should have been.
When you're in the studio, you take little breaks. What do? You ever turn on the PlayStation or the Xbox or anything like that?
Well, you know what? I'm notorious for breaks. I love breaks, dog, because when I come back from a break, something comes to me always. Something during that break will inspire me to finish whatever the hell it is I'm finishing. And sometimes I'll watch flicks. Sometimes I'll cook. I like cooking a lot. Bullshit with my homies. Get on Instagram. I like doing something other than music. I completely cut music off so that when I come back to it, it's fresh and I'll kill it. Whatever the hell it is, I'll kill it. But I like taking breaks, lots of breaks.
And you like cooking?
Oh, I love cooking, dog. People that watch my Instagram, they know that I like cooking because I'm notorious for cooking and talking shit.
That'll work.
And people like that shit, dog.
Yeah.
Like I'll be cooking up some eggs and talking shit in the morning. And it's before I used to just cook and not say nothing, and I'd get a lot of people responding. And then one day I just started telling stories while I was cooking, and people fucking love that shit, dog. Like you should see the inbox hops up like all crazy. People are all over that shit. They like you to tell stories, talk shit, and cook at the same time. It's entertaining to them.
Wow. You may even be able to start your own fucking podcast.
Dog,
doing that shit.
every day someone tells me, you need a cooking channel. You need a cooking channel. You need a cooking channel. I'm like, I would like to do a cooking channel. The Funky Kitchen. I would like to do a cooking channel, but the issue that I have with that is on Instagram, you just hit the button and you're done. Right. Having a cooking channel, you have to edit and do all this shit when you're finished. It's another job, dog. And now you got to think about it. If someone's going to watch you cooking, how many times are they going to come back to watch it? They're not. They're going to watch it one fucking time and that's it. They're out.
Right. You know what I used to do? And I used to get a lot of response, but I stopped. Every morning, I used to go to eat breakfast. I like to eat breakfast, especially by myself, okay? And here's what I used to do. I used to go on my story on Instagram, and I was like, okay, and now I'm going to introduce you to my food. These are my huevos estrellados. These are my frijoles. This is mi sopa, whatever. And people used to like, oh, man, I used to like that shit. But I didn't think nobody was paying attention.
After you made it or at spots?
No, at spots or whatever. And then I used to promote the spot by tagging it.
Yeah.
But let me tell you why I stopped. Because one day I was having some crepes in the morning, okay, crepes, and I posted it where I was at. So what I did, I was over here on my phone. I was letting my food kind of somewhat cool off, drinking my coffee, and one guy that where I tagged the place, he lived close by, and he showed up, and he was like, "Hi, Tony A."
Ah, shit.
And I was like,
you had yourself a stalker, dog.
Yeah, dude. And I was like, what the fuck? And he was like, I saw that you tagged and I wanted to know if I can come and sit down with you and talk to you. And I was like, nah, homie. So I don't do that no more.
What if it would have been a hyena? Would it have been good?
Same thing.
What if she would have been a fine hyena?
No, same thing. And
I gotta ask, dog.
But all good, brother.
Ask.
But I'm gonna tell you why, because there's some things that I just like doing alone. There's some things that I like.
I feel you on that.
So, yeah. But now, growing up in your home with your mother and your father, what type of music were they playing at home?
They were playing Reasons. They were playing Earth, Wind, and Fire, dog. A lot of Earth, Wind, and Fire. A lot of old school. My dad listened to listened to mixed stuff like heavy rock. Like he liked Hendrix, Zeppelin, Joplin. Stuff like that. Doors.
The Doors.
So I have a heavy love for shit like that too. I have a heavy love for that. My mom would play oldies, Motown, current shit that was current at the time. War, just GQ, stuff like that. All the.
Now, growing up, listening to that type of music, did you have any favorite songs that you liked? Like, me gusta esa canción. Can you play that one again? Was there ever anything
there
like
was
that?
one by Earth, Wind, and Fire. I don't remember what it's called. I think it was an instrumental, one of their jazz instrumental tracks. Okay. And I used to sing to it. I think it was Sun something. It went pa beo beo. I don't know what the fuck they were saying. Right. But I used to sing that shit when I was in the back seat. I used to sing it.
Oh.
And I would play it all the time. And what else did I think I would make them play Richie Valens. I liked Richie Valens when they would play Richie Valens. The 8-track.
Yeah, the 8-track.
They had shit on 8-track.
I don't even fucking remember. That one, you couldn't rewind it, huh? You had to wait till it was all the way through.
And there was 4 tracks, the first track would play about what, like 5 minutes, maybe to about 12, 15 minutes. And then you could fast forward it.
Right, that was it.
You could fast forward, but you couldn't rewind it. So if you wanted to hear that again, you'd have to fast forward all the way through, wait for it to come back again.
Now, a musical question. You mentioned like Joplin, Doors, Led Zeppelin, Hendrix. You ever think about doing anything with that type of sound?
I have music with that type of sound. I just haven't released it because I don't feel like the public's ready for me to do that yet.
Right.
And well, not only that, you know what, Tony? I have so many projects at the same time. I have my hand in all kinds of different shit at the same time. But it was important for me to finish that funk album. Very important. Because I've been working on that shit for like 10 years.
Really?
So I still dabble in all my other projects and all my people that I'm working with, but I had to kill that fucking project off because it was something that I had to finish. I had to get that. I had to finish that up. But as far as your question goes, yeah, I have some rock shit, some stuff that I have all kinds of shit.
Okay.
But that's one of the projects that I do have, and it's not like a whole album. It's just like 3 or 4 songs.
Okay. Towards the end, I'm going to ask you more about what type of equipment do you use, because there's a lot of people out there that like to talk equipment, like me. I love that type of shit.
Yeah.
But now, who would you say, I'll give you mine and then I'll let you answer.
Okay.
Who would you say that when you first heard either this artist or this band as a youngster, whether you're 10 or you're 12 or 13 years old, somewhere around there, who would you say like that fucking dude or that band caught my ear and you just couldn't let it go? I'll give you an example. When I first heard of Prince.
That's my answer.
Okay, same here.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, but it was just the music, his style of singing, his style, everything about that dude. Just kind of like I couldn't put those records down, man.
The way I felt when I heard Prince, I didn't look at him as a genius. I looked at him like, this shit's dope. Like I liked singing to it. So anything that I can sing to right away would catch my ear. When I heard Prince, I think one of my favorite songs from Prince was Cab Driver.
Okay.
That's like one of my favorite. I fell in love with that song like more than the mainstream shit. I like the mainstream shit, but Cab Driver was funky. Lady Cab Drivers is like some funky ass shit. That guitar riff.
Yeah.
But when I heard that set it off for me. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Mine was obviously Head. Okay.
That's the shit too.
Yeah.
But I didn't hear that till later.
Okay.
I didn't hear that. I mean, my parents weren't going to play that shit.
Right. Mine was Head, and he actually had a song on there. No, they might have been on the second album. His first album, I think it was self-titled Prince, and then I Want to Be Your Lover, and then the Head, and then eventually Controversy. But more from Head up, that's when like Controversy, that album.
That break beat in Head, the break part.
Yeah.
This shit.
Nobody's ever sampled it or did it right.
I have.
Okay.
Just the break beat. I sampled the break beat.
That's dope, man.
But
you know what? He was one of those artists that from there, and of course, not in order, next would be, and then you could probably answer it as well too. Mine would be like Gap Band, Cameo, the Bar-Kays.
Stevie Wonder for me was Stevie Wonder.
Stevie Wonder?
Yeah.
Okay. Was there any specific song that?
There's
just the body of
there's
work.
His body of work, because I have too many favorites from Stevie. He's the shit. He's just a genius. I like people like that are musical and that can play all their instruments, and those are two dudes that can.
Okay. Now I know you also play talkbox. Okay. I know I'm jumping a little bit ahead, but since we're on that subject as far as old school music, who was the first guy that? Because I know Stevie played it. Who was the first guy you ever heard play talkbox?
Frampton.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I heard him. I was like, what is that? Is that a robot? What the fuck is that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That shit was dope, man.
I heard that shit, and then years later, I heard Roger. But Roger took it to another level. Like his shit was, Roger's the shit. Roger was the shit. But Frampton was the first dude that I heard do it with guitar. My dad had the 8-track Frampton Comes Alive.
Right. That dope ass album.
Yeah.
Now, growing up, did you at all play any type of instruments?
I want to say in 85, 84, my dad bought me a Casio. a little Casio keyboard.
And about how old were you? Would you say? Because I was at that time. I was like 16 or
10.
17.
I was 10 years old.
Okay.
I started dabbling in playing keys, just dabbling. I wasn't no genius at it, but I liked fucking with it.
Did you have the patience to sit there and try to learn it? Because
Yeah.
I didn't have that.
No, I had the patience to learn. I had the patience. I liked it. I liked it a lot. Yeah.
And would you say rapping or singing came first? Like for you, as far as like, did you over here start rapping too, or were you just playing and singing?
Rapping came to me later.
Okay.
Way later.
Okay.
I started rapping later, and then singing came to me. Are we gonna get into this right now? Or you want to save that?
No. We're gonna say that to the next one, but
because I could keep talking on that.
Oh, okay. No, okay.
Yeah.
That we'll start off with that on the next one. Now, let's lead up to it. What were your first hip hop songs that you can remember that caught your ear? Were like, you said, "What the fuck is this?" Of course,
Planet Rock.
Planet Rock.
I heard that for the first time, and I was blown away. I was like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah, it was like on some other shit, huh?
I couldn't stop playing it, dog. I remember I got myself. I heard it the first time I heard it in a mix. I don't know. It was one of those LA mixes that they would put out. Remember those little white tapes that had the. I don't remember what mix it was, but I heard it in a mix, just a little piece of it, and I remember hearing it. And then one day I heard the whole song, and I remember I got a copy of it, and I couldn't stop playing it. I had this big ass ghetto blaster, and I would play out in the front yard, and I would play it over and over again, like rewind it, play it, rewind it, play it, rewind it, play it. And I remember when the neighbors comes outside, he goes, "Hey, homie, can you find a new jam to play, dog?" And I didn't find it. I kept playing that shit, but I remember I didn't think I was getting on anyone's nerves with it, but I was obsessed with that fucking song, dog.
Yeah. From
From beginning to the end, and then the little break beat at the end.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Of course.
That shit, dog. I would rewind it and just play that little part over and over again.
Yeah.
I was obsessed with Planet Rock.
Now, did you feel the same way about Play at Your Own Risk?
I hadn't heard that till a little later.
Song, man. And then,
I dig that jam. I do dig it. But Planet Rock was my shit.
Was your shit.
Yeah.
Dope.
Yeah, and then Nucleus after that. Jam on it.
Now, at this time, when you're listening to these songs, you're in Santa Maria at this time, correct?
Yeah. No, I'm in Napomo.
Okay. What record store
that's where I
did
grew
you guys
up.
have out there?
We had
Did you guys have like the Warehouse Music Plus? Like, what you got?
we had this spot called Paradise Records.
Okay.
And what was cool about it, and I don't know if any other places did it, the dude would rent records out. Where just like videotapes. He would rent records out, you could pay for it, and then bring it back and have it for a long ass time, not just 3 or 4 days. You could have it for a long time. You put a deposit down and you bring it back, they give you half of your deposit back.
Wow.
Paradise Records. That was our little local shop. I lived in Napomo. Santa Maria was about 50 minutes away. So I told my mom to take me to that spot because I wanted to go get some new shit, go record, take that, because we would take it home and of course transfer it to cassette.
Right.
Have it and then be able to play it. So we would rent records, and it's weird. I've never heard of any other music stores that did that rented out records like that.
You know what? I recently only heard of a place called out here in Hollywood, and I didn't know that this existed. He's I think his name's Kevin Dunnan. He's half black, half Japanese, and he looks Japanese, but he sounds just like
He's
a black dude.
Blackanese.
Blackanese, okay. And he owns a record store called As the Record Turns. And most people that are listening know about it. And I'm going to tell you who rented his records. People like Dr. Dre, people like Chris the Glove Taylor, people like Warren G, people like Everlast. They would go in there and rent records so they can go sample them. But what he would do, according to him, he would deal with them on a whole different other level. Like, it wouldn't be a couple of dollars; it'll be a couple of thousands.
Oh shit!
And I asked.
Oh, those were like breakbeat records,
yeah.
like
and I
records
asked
with
him,
all the breaks.
Yes, and I asked him why so much, and he said, because I'm not going to give people platinum records for my record store
To make hits,
and I only get $5, $10 or whatever. But like he told me, and I'm trying to get him here. because he has a lot of history. I'm talking about this guy knew like James Brown, Rick James, and everybody.
Well, it was probably his records out. He was renting to people.
Exactly. And he told me, he goes, that California Love song, which is the original, if I'm correct, John Cocker, the original sample. He goes, I gave that to Dre. Dre told me, I need something that's gonna hit. I need something I need to remake. I need something. He goes, do this. So he goes, I gave that to Dre. And he showed me pictures of him in the studio with Dre and Snoop when they were first creating that, stuff like that.
That's dope.
Yeah, it's dope. But no, that's what.
What was the name of that?
As the Record Turns.
That's a dope name for a shop.
Yeah, you can go, but his records aren't cheap. He's the only guy that I ever knew that had the vinyl on Scarface, the movie with Al Pacino. He had the vinyl, but he wanted to give me for $80. And I thought twice. I'm like, fuck, I'm just gonna put it in my showcase. I'm not gonna fucking play it.
Yeah.
So, but anyways,
you should rent it from him.
$1,000.
Scan the fucker.
Now, Planet Rock. After that, who would you say, if you had any early inspirations on hip hop, who would you say you used to listen to as a youngster growing up? As far as rap was concerned, of course, like for me,
I liked UTFO. I loved Houdini.
Houdini's dope.
Yeah, Houdini. I couldn't stop playing Houdini.
Okay.
Those that's like the meat of it for me. I liked LL Cool J a little bit later.
Okay.
That was a little bit later, but yeah, I want to say UTFO, Nucleus. All the shit that the mix masters were mixing at that time.
Mm-hmm. Now, out there in your area, was there a lot of clubs at that time that either you would attend, that you would go, house parties? Did you have strict parents where they wouldn't let you go out?
At that time when that music was out, I was only 10.
Okay, you were only 10.
I was only 10 years old.
Around what
10,
age
11.
would you say you started going out?
I want to say around 13 years old, because I was already spinning at that time.
Oh, okay.
So I was already out. Okay. I was out. I had my club scene early, way early as a young kid. I did all the backyard parties. I did clubs. They let me in the clubs to spin. At 13, 14, I was already doing that. So.
Okay. Now, we still have a little bit of time, but I wanted to ask you that when you started DJing, as far as DJs, I asked you about music. As far as funk, I asked you about hip hop. Now, as far as DJing is concerned, who would you say you saw that inspired you to say, I want to DJ?
There was this dude that goes by Ecstasy from my hometown, Napomo. And the first time I seen someone spin in front of me was him.
Okay.
Yeah, his name is Andy. And he was from Napomo, and he spun. I seen him the first time spinning the record forward and back, and I was like, that's just like Rocket.
Right.
That's like Rocket. That's like, and I didn't know his name was Chris. I didn't know, who the original, what the dude's name was, but I remember seeing the Rocket video and then seeing this dude doing the same shit. And I was like, how's he able to do it? Like, what the hell is he doing,
Right.
And I got obsessed with scratching, and I wanted to learn to scratch at that point. And I was about 10, 11. Around 10 or 11, so I started fucking up my records at home.
Yeah, of course, we all did
10 or 11.
We all did that. And when you, I guess, got your first equipment, did you get them all at once? Because I remember I got my one turntable, one mixer, and then eventually my second turntable. Did you get everything all at once?
Well, when I started learning to scratch, I had one of those little record players that you could open up the cover.
Okay.
And just put the needle down. So I started learning to scratch on there, like just moving the record back and forth and trying to figure out what the fuck they were doing.
Right.
And after that, when I was maybe around 11 or 12, I the big consoles that they have with the record players in them.
Yes.
I took a couple of those out that were like the same exact turntables, and me and my cousin built like a coffin.
Okay.
And my cousin Angel, we built a coffin, and I put those two, and then my dad brought me home a mixer from the swap meet. He found a mixer for me, and I don't remember what kind of mixer it was, but
brand new or used?
It was a used one from the swap meet, the one with where you put I think it was a realistic where you put the 9-volt in it.
Okay.
You put the little 9-volt in it, and I started. That was my first equipment. I didn't know what a slip cover was, so I used felt. I glued felt to the turntables. So I had me a blue coffin, felt turntables, and those
That
were
was it.
Yeah,
That was it.
That was my first setup. My second setup, I saved up, and one of the dudes from that Paradise, from that store I was telling you about earlier, he had 1500s that he sold me. Have you ever seen the 1500s?
No.
They're like 1200s, but they're digital. You hit a button, it goes right directly back to zero. And then if you hold, you can either tap it to make it the speed go faster or slower, or hold it down, it'll go fast to that area. So I had 1500s was my second pair.
Okay. Now here's somewhat of a goofy question, but I think people would appreciate it. Did you learn how to blend first or scratch?
Scratch.
Mine was scratch first too.
Yeah.
Blending to me came easy. It did. Did yours come easy?
No, they were both challenges for me.
Really?
Both of them were challenges.
Scratching, I think I picked it up pretty fast. I didn't think I was that good, but I picked it up like I knew like chew.
That was my first. That was my first scratch with no fader.
Right. No. Well, mine was a round fader, and then blending actually came faster because I knew Planet Rock was just a fast song, And then if you had a song like "Go See the Doctor" by Kumo D, you knew
it wasn't gonna work.
It wasn't gonna work. So you would find like make the music with your mouth biz, go see the doctor. Maybe that would work.
You know what? For me, to learning to blend, I had it. Remember, I told you I got that Casio that my dad had given me.
Right.
I would let the beat play and try to match the speed up with it, and then blend the record with that before I try to blend songs with other songs. I was blending to whatever the drum beats were on that Casio.
Right. And then one thing that is never taught to us unless we figure it out, when to blend during the break.
Right. On the one.
Yeah. Yes.
On the one during the break.
On the one, we're going to go ahead and press pause, and we're going to come back on the two. So we're going to take a 10-minute break. We're going to come right back, finish up this dope conversation that I'm having with DJ Dominator all the way from the 805. Once again, this is Roadium Radio, episode 35. Call somebody, text somebody, pay somebody, slap the shit out of somebody, and let them know that 805 is in the building. DJ Dominator.
Fuck that dude up. Whoever you're calling, fuck him up.
Fuck his ass up.
Drop that. What? Bass.
I bet.
My name is the Croft, the CRAWFORD, the poet high C. Tony A, the wizard, just as cool as a blizzard. Picking out his tongue, stabbing pussy like a lizard. Ooh, so sorry, homie, I didn't mean to say that. Steve is in the house. Come on, won't you play that funky dope beat? You know you gotta throw me some Stanley ass Croft coming straight from the Roadium.
You are now about to witness
Tony A.
Get funky. Tell them where you from. You don't like how I'm living, well, fuck you.
Coolin' on a Saturday night in LA. Yo, feeling kinda fancy. Stop what you're doing, cause I'm about to ruin the image and the style that you used to.
What the hell are you looking for? Can a young man make money anymore? Wear my jeans and like freaking on the floor? Or is it my job to make sure I'm poor?
Disruption, disorder, who nourish, not justify. Those that live at the FBI, look at mama's baby.
It's Mr. Little One chilling on Roadium Radio with the one and only Tony A and John motherfucking Elkins, boy.
Hey, what up? It's your boy Mr. Shadow. You're watching Roadium Radio with my homeboy Tony A the Wizard. You know what time it is.
Yeah, what up? This is Mr. Night Owl, and you're listening to Roadium Radio with the legendary Tony A the motherfucking Wizard.
Yo, what's cracking? Nosotros somos Aquid y estamos aquí con Tony A the Wizard. You know Roadium Radio, damn it. You know what it is.
Yo, what up? This is Mellow Man Ace and Padrino, and you tuned in to Roadium Radio with my man Tony A. Keep it locked.
Yo, what's cracking? It's your boy OG Arabian Prince from the world's most dangerous group, NWA. Sitting here with my boy Tony A the Wizard on Roadium Radio.
What's up? This is Esther Dazzle, Spanish Fly, Harbor Area's finest. Tune in to Tony A on Roadium Radio.
What's up, everybody? It's your homegirl Magic Girl, and you are now listening to Roadium Radio with Tony A the Wizard.
Yo, what's up? This is Bozo, aka Emiliano. You tune into Roadium Radio on Tony Vision's YouTube channel. Let's get it.
What up, what up? It's Mr. Soto. You guys are now in tune to Roadium Radio right here on Tony Vision on YouTube.
Yep. Check it out. This is MC Poncho on the MIC. Shout out to Tony A the Wizard, Roadium Radio. You already know.
What up, this is DJ Trick, Spanish Fly, and you're watching Tony A on the Roadium Radio Show.
Big G, Roadium Radio, Tony A in full effect.
Stay tuned, watch, listen. That's how we doing it over here.
Yo, what up? I'm out here. It's Big Daddy Swoles. I'm jamming with my man, Tony A. the Wizard, out here on Roadium Radio. The podcast is off the hook. Check us out.
This is DJ Clientele, and you are listening to Roadium Radio with Tony A. the Wizard.
Yeah, this baby Bounce here with Tony A. the Wizard. You are now tuned in to the Roadium Radio. We do it for the people. You hear me?
Mic check. Ernie G from Proper Dos, and I'm listening to Tony A, the motherfucking Wizard, on Roadium Radio. And if you don't know, you should know.
What's up, everybody? This is Soren Baker. I'm the author of the book, The History of Gangster Rap, in stores now worldwide. And you're listening to Roadium Radio, hosted by Tony A. Make sure to check it out. We talk about the Roadium mixtapes. We're here. Soren Baker, Roadium Radio.
Y'all, this is Really Greg, and I'm chilling with Tony the Wizard on Roadium Radio.
Yo, this is Daniel Jones, the D to the motherfucking G Media Clips. Here with your boy, Tony A. the Wizard on the Roadium Radio Show.
Hey, this is Swifty Blue. I'm right here at Roadium Radio with Tony A. the Wizard. Stay tuned.
It's the KAS here live on Roadium Radio with the one and only Tony A. the Wizard.
What up, y'all? This is Kiki Smooth, the first Mexican rapper out of Compton, rich and ruthless, and you're listening to the Roadium Radio with Tony A, the Grand Wizard, El Mago himself. Hey, Compton's in the house.
What's up? It's quite the Yes Guy with my harbor out of our homeboy Tony A. the Wizard on Roadium Radio. Yes Guy.
Hey, what's up, gente? It's your homeboy Duende. You're tuned into Roadium Radio with my homeboy Tony A. the Wizard. Ya te la sabes, wey.
What up? It's your boy Baldachi the Beast, Ed for Music, Face of LA, right here at Roadium Radio. Make sure y'all tune in. Your boy Tony A. the Wizard.
Yo, what's up? This is John motherfucking Elkins, and you're tuned into Roadium Radio with my homeboy DJ Tony A. the Wizard.
What up, West Coast and all hip-hop fans? This is your girl, Violet Brown, and I'm here with Tony A. the Wizard. And if you're rolling with us right now, that means that you love West Coast hip-hop. And if you want to know the real deal from the real players, the real people behind the scenes, you better pick up Tony's new film, Roadium Mixtape DOCUMIXERY. You get it by going to DOCUMIXERY.com. You better get this, and I want to do a special shout out and a rest in peace to my man Steve YANO. I'm out.
Tony A, chillin' at the Roadium with my homeboy Steve. Be on the lookout for our new 12-inch, the shit is dope. Yo, I like to say what's up to my homeboy Dre, my homeboy Prince of Jazz, and the girls with the big ol' ass. So Trip, I'm about to bust one more time to let y'all niggas know just what's on my mind.
In the morning, police at my door. Fresh Adidas squeak across my bathroom floor. Out my back window, I make my escape. Didn't even get a chance to grab my old school tape. Mad with no music, but happy cause free. And the streets to a player is the place to be. Got a knot in my pocket weighing at least a gram.
These right here are the ultimate breaks and beats. These were introduced to the West Coast by Steve YANO. They came from the East Coast to the West Coast, and they were sold only at the Roadium. You can still see the Roadium sticker there. And these are called, once again, the ultimate breaks and beats. If you're a DJ or a producer, you better know what these are. If not, don't call yourself a DJ or a producer. Me and High C right here, we know about these. Back in the day, I would have doubles of everything. Here's a quick story. When Ice Cube left NWA, he came over to my pad, and I was playing some beats for him. Before he left to New York to do his album, America's Most Wanted, he actually asked me if he can borrow a set of my Ultimate Breaks and Beats. I let him borrow it, never saw the dude again, man. I guess that's what he meant by Jacket for Beats. But you know what? Much love to Ice Cube. He helped put not only Compton, South Central, but West Coast on the map. So much love to him. But once again, these are the records that Steve introduced to the West Coast. You don't believe me? Ask Dr. Dre.
Get you, Dre. Just do 1 2 1 2. Right about now, Eazy-E and Dr. Dre's in the motherfucking house.
Times are getting crazy. It's really hard to choose it. The Roadium's a spot to get funky, fresh music. Easy motherfucking E and my homeboy Dr. Dre. MC Ren is in effect, and you know we don't play. The Roadium is hitting, but you know you can't leave until you get a deaf ass tape from Steve. Oh Steve, oh Steve, oh Steve, just give me just one more tape. Oh Steve, oh Steve, oh Steve, just give me just one more tape. Oh Steve, oh Steve, oh Steve, just give me just one more tape. Oh Steve, oh Steve, oh Steve, just give me just one more tape.
Yeah, man, I came all the way down to the Roadium spot, man, to pick up one of the NWA tapes, man. And I talked to homeboy Steve down there, man, and he said I'm fresh out of tapes, man. How the fuck you fresh out of tapes, man? He said cause they selling like hotcakes and shit, man. Got my man going down. Hey, what's for dinner?
Yo, once again, everybody, welcome back to Roadium Radio episode 35. And we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. I appreciate everybody leaving all the good and negative comments. You're still logged in. And
we want it all.
We want it all. So, once again, DJ Dominator, 805 in the building. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and say much love and respect to the 805. So now we were talking about you DJing. You had your turntables, you had your mixer, and now you're pretty much venturing out and doing weddings, quinceañeras, I'm assuming.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What was, or did you have a DJ name, or was it just the name of the mobile system that you had? What was your DJ name?
You know what? For the longest time, I went by DJ Art.
Okay.
DJ Art, because that's my name. Arturo is my real name, and I went by DJ Art for the longest time, and then one time I would make these little mixes and send them into this radio station, but and my homie Frank Ramirez was running this. He ran a college station called 91.9 KCSB, and his name was DDZ. And I would send these mixes to him, and he'd be, "Oh, these are nice little mixes, dude. How old are you?" You know, and I told my age, and he would play my mixes, and I'd be all happy and stoked. You know, my shit would be on the radio.
Right.
And one day he goes, "Do you have a DJ name?" I go, "Yeah, DJ Art." He's like, "No, like a DJ name, like a real DJ name."
Like something better.
Like, "That's my name." He goes, "No, you need a DJ name, man." And I told him, "Well, I don't have one, and I can't think of one. I don't." And then he goes, "You know what? Let me give you a call back, and I'll see if I could come up with something for you." And I told him, "All right, cool." So an hour later, about an hour and a half, he calls me back. He goes, "I got your name." And I go, "What is it?" And I thought he was gonna say something stupid, and then he said DJ Dominator, and I was like, "Oh shit, that's dope." You know what I mean? That's a dope name.
Right.
And then he goes, "Let me tell you why your name should be Dominator." He goes, "Because you're the only one in your area that's cutting it up, mixing and scratching the way that you're doing it in your area." And that say that because I've never heard of anyone else out of that area doing that. And he goes, "And number two, it's close to your last name, Dominguez, Dominator Dominguez." I was like, "Dude, that's fucking perfect."
Wow.
So from then on, I went by.
That's dope.
I went by Dominator.
It sounds almost like a cross between a funk name and a electro funk. You know, somewhere in there. And first of all, let me give a shout out to Frank Ramirez, because
DDZ, Frank Ramirez.
I met Frank Ramirez, I want to say 91, 92, Santa Barbara guy.
Mm-hmm.
Zeramar Video, if you remember that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I've been knowing him.
He's clever with his names.
Yes.
You know Zeramar is, right?
Yes. Ramirez backwards.
Exactly.
And I was just at his house, I think sometime last year. I went out there, paid him a visit. We went out to eat.
He's cool people, man. That's my boy.
Real cool people.
Like I said, that's the first dude to play my music on the radio. My mixes.
Yeah. And okay, so now you're DJing, you're a youngster. Now let me ask you this. This is an interesting question. What rappers or what groups from your area were out before you?
Well, the first one from my area his name was AKA Joe. Okay. And he actually rapped with the dude that I was telling you about earlier. That Ecstasy was his DJ. Okay. The guy that I seen scratch for the first time, which is crazy. But he's one of the first rappers from my area, aka Joe. Okay. The second group from my area is Cali Lifestyle, T. Dre and Deluxe. They're the second group, and they were popping. They popped all over the place. Okay. So after them, it was us.
Okay. Now, when you say us, I ask questions as if I don't know anything.
Central Coast Clique.
Central Coast Clique.
Central Coast Clique.
And
Triple C.
So how long have you had been DJing before you teamed up and said, we are Central Coast Clique?
You mind if I tell a story?
Go for it.
All right. So I started DJing about 13, 14 years old. And by the time I was about 21, I already had like a little sampler, because I would like to loop drum beats while I was DJing and then mix into the drum beats. So I had a little sampler, the Gemini, the Scratch Master, had a little sampler on it. I think it was like a low bit sampler, but it did the job. So rappers would hit me up and say, hey, can you loop this beat for me? Can you loop this beat for me? And I'd be like, yeah, whatever. So they'd come over and I'd be looping them Bounce Rock Skate, Good Times, you know, whatever break beats I could find. And after that, I kind of after seeing these rappers, some of them rap, I would critique them and tell them, dude, you need to rhyme in this spot. You need to rhyme in that spot. You're rhyming like in weird spots. And just from that right there, and they were like, how the fuck do you know? You don't rap. I go, but I listen to rap. How can you not know? It's right there. It's like a fucking nursery rhyme.
Right.
So they're like, well, why don't you try if you think it's so fucking easy? And I'd be like, maybe I will. So I'm on the down low on my own time. I would write little rhymes, but I didn't want to show no one because everyone's first rhymes are fucking whack.
Right.
So once I thought it was good enough, I started showing my homies, and they were like, dude, that's all right. They didn't say it was dope. They said it was all right. But I didn't want to. That's all right. I wanted to hear that's fucking dope.
Right.
So I kept working my craft, and then I had a couple homies from the neighborhood that came by one day, and they wanted to start a group, and it was my homie Justo and my homie Gil, and Gil went by Rebel.
Okay.
So he already had his name when he came, and when I heard them rap, Rebel was dope, but Justo, the other dude, he didn't spend a lot of time crafting and stuff, so he was struggling a little bit with it, and I think he kind of gave in a little bit with it after a little while. Like I think he kind of got tired of it, but Rebel kept coming back on his own. He kept coming back, and cutting shit on his own, and I really liked the way he sounded. So one day I showed Rebel some of the shit that I was doing, and he was like, that's dope, dude. And I told him, hey, there's an open verse on it. Jump on it. Fuck it, just jump on it. So when he jumped on it, it put the song together where it started to sound like an actual song, and the chemistry was, our voices together were, I like, when I showed it to people, I started getting that reaction. That's fucking dope. So I was like, I think we got something here. So from then on, we were a group with no name.
Okay, a group with no name, and so it's you, DJ Dominator, and Rebel. Who was doing the production? Was that all you at this time?
I was doing what if you want to call it production. I was looping a lot of beats.
Okay.
And then
you were using the Gemini still.
I was using the Gemini still, and I was looping beats, and I would loop a drum beat, take a sample, and loop the drum over the sample. And that's pretty much what we were rapping over. And then we'd find like a singing part from a song and scratch. I was a DJ, so I was able to scratch that shit in.
Like a chorus.
Like a chorus. We'd scratch shit in and use that as a hook. And then I started showing my homie T. Dre from Cali Lifestyle some of that shit. He's like, that's dope, dude. What's your group name? I go, we don't got a group name. And then he was like, the next time he came by, he was like, dude, you guys are Central Coast Clique. That's who you guys are. And I was
just like that?
Just like that. He goes, you guys are Central Coast Clique. And then I was all, what? He's all, yeah. If you want to complicate it, you can call your guys Triple C. A lot of people think there's 3 people in the group, but there's not. Triple C stands for Central Coast Clique. There's no third member. A lot of people get it twisted. They're like, "Where's the third guy?" I'm like, "There is no fucking third guy."
Okay.
But that's pretty much how our group got
dope,
started.
man. That's dope. And I'm glad that we're clearing this up because, and I wanted you to tell it because a lot of times I like to, once again, I like to ask questions that I like to sound like I don't know what I'm talking about, but I do my homework on whoever I interview. But a lot of people would don't tell us, let him tell it. So that's why it's good when you share these stories. Now, when did you guys drop that first, Triple C or CCC album, if you will?
Okay, well, the first time that after those a lot of those recordings were done on a 4-track.
Okay.
I used a Tascam 4-track player, a little cassette, 4 different tracks. For those of you who do not know, it was not a computer program where you can undo
right
when you make a mistake. If you fuck up, you have to do the whole verse over or punch in for the area where you want to start over again. So we didn't have the privilege of being able to undo a word or fix this word or that word. You have to get it right.
And no auto-tune.
No auto-tune. So we recorded on a 4-track tape, and we had a bunch of demos that we put together. And what we were doing was putting demos together so that we could rehearse these and get it to the T. So when we would go into the big studio, we'd just wipe shit out. We'd take an hour and dust out 3 songs in an hour versus writing there in the studio. I went with some of my other homies and they'd be writing in the studio, burning out time, wasting all this fucking money. And I told them, dude, we don't have that much money to be fucking wasting and writing in the studio. Let's get this shit tight, go in there, record it. And so our actual first album, I ran into this dude from the neighborhood. His name is Tomas Solis. That's the head president of 805 Underworld Records. That's his label. And we were, damn, this story's gonna go around. I have to backtrack a little bit.
It's all right, go for it, man. Everybody's listening.
He had this label and he had already put CLS out. And he was touring with Night Owl and Johnny J. And I knew him good because he's a family member of one of my family members. Mm-hmm. So he would ask me, hey, you want to come? You want to help us slang CDs? You could, I'll give you a little bit of money if you want to help us slang CDs. I was like, hell yeah. What kid wouldn't want to do that?
Right.
So I would go out with them and slang CDs. And that was like, I had the time of my life doing that because I got to see these guys perform. I got to see CLS come up. Just watching them gave me ideas of what we should be doing. This was before we started recording, but I was still collecting ideas from what I seen them doing. And eventually I ended up showing Tomas some of the recordings that we had done, the 4-track recordings. And he's like, well, let's put an album together. And it was taking us a while to get these demos done. And what happened was he goes, well, some of these are good enough to just use the demos. And I was like, nah, I don't want to do that, dog. I want the shit to be polished because I'm a perfectionist. That's just the way I am.
Me too, bro.
But he was like, dude, they're good enough. Let's put them out. And I'm going to have to sidetrack a little bit more. One time, one of my homies called me and he says, he goes, I got a couple people here that you might want to meet. He goes, bring your 4-track down. We're having a barbecue. And I go, all right, cool. I go, who is it? He goes, Lil Rob and a new rapper named Shadow. He goes, Shadow's fucking bad, dude. And he goes, and you already know Lil Rob. He goes, bring your 4-track. Maybe we could convince them to jump on one of your songs. And I was like, fuck it. So I brought the 4-track. My homie hooked up some ribs.
Yeah.
We grubbed and
no tri-tip?
He tri-tip, but more ribs. He had all kinds of fucking ribs there, dude.
When I think Santa Maria, I think tri-tip, bro. So I'm hungry.
I know you were telling me about that.
Go for it, brother.
So I walk into the spot after a little while. I didn't take it down right away because I didn't want to look all weird and shit. Just walk up to the party with the fucking 4-track. But I waited till everyone had a little buzz.
Right.
Walked in and then I brought the 4-track down and then I hooked it up to the receiver and started playing some of the shit.
Right.
And I played, the first song I played was a song that I mixed the drums from Tom Tom Club, The Break.
Yeah.
I mixed that with Louie Louie by The Stories.
Oh, the one you played earlier. That's the shit right there.
I mixed that and I played it and I looked at Lil Rob and I was like, hey bro, there's a fucking open spot on here if you want to jump on that shit. You know, I didn't know how to ask someone, you know, but and then he was like, fuck it, play it. So I recorded him and then he overdubbed it and then he overdubbed backups on it and then there wasn't any room. Shallow was like, oh yeah, I'm ready for my verse, you know, and I was like, dog, there's no more spots on here, and it was fucked up because I heard Shadow's album a little earlier that day, some of the songs, and I was like, fuck, I would love to put him on something, you know?
Right.
So after we recorded that one, I had another beat, the Intimate Connection break beat, the break beat at the beginning by Clear.
Right.
I had done some weird instruments over it, just fucked with it. Little Rob jumped on that one and Shallow jumped on that one at the end.
And all this was at the barbecue?
This was at the barbecue. So I had it playing through the house stereo, the auxiliary playing through the house, no headphones. We had a little a dynamic mic, and they were holding the mic. It was like we weren't in a studio with some fucking microphone. I mean, if you listen to the songs, you can tell there was no vocal booth there. You know what I mean? Right. And I really didn't know what the fuck I was doing at that time anyway, you know, or else I would have probably put them in the closet or somewhere with the condenser mic, but I didn't know what the fuck I was doing, dog. Right. But we were basically putting that demo together. So after Tomas heard those songs, he was like, we got to put this shit out, dog. When are you going to get Little Rob and Shadow back down here to get into the big studio? That's not going to happen. They're not going to come back down here. We need to put that out right there. And I was like, fuck, dude. I was like,
right, of course. That's like a demo still.
Yeah. I said, I'll mix it the best I can. And we fucking dropped it. We dropped the whole album of half of the demos. But I kept the certain songs, I kept them out because I didn't want them to be heard that way. So we dropped that first album. It was called Underground for Life. There was a big Aztec calendar in the front of it. Central Coast Clique. We dropped it and it fucking spread like mad fire, dog. Like it sold so many units. They sold so many units off that 4-track recorded tape.
Wow. Now, even to this day, I could tell that it still bothers you that you released it off that 4-track.
Of course. I go back to it when people are like, that's a classic album. It's legendary. And I'm like, let me listen to this shit. So I'll listen to it. I probably listened to it last week and I'll cringe at the sound, dog. There's so many highs in there. Now that I'm a good engineer, I know what the fuck I'm doing. I hear like the bass I could have ran a filter to get rid of some of that hissing, you know, all that shit. It still bothers me. I can't listen to it without critiquing it every time I fucking hear it. Every time I fucking hear it. So the second album that we did, Here Comes the Triple C, all that was, we did exactly what I told you. We fucking got the shit down. We went into the studio, fucking nailed it. Like I'm telling you, we do like 3 songs and maybe even more sometimes in an hour. And a lot of the production I had done in-house at my pad. Okay. And by that time I wasn't using the little Gemini sampler no more. I already had I think I used a Kai Remix 16. Okay. And the sequencer was actually it was an Atari computer. Do you remember the Atari computers, the sequencers? They were more than just video games. This was software that you could actually sequence with. And I would hook that up and it would tell the sampler what to do. Like you could literally sequence, quantize on the computer. It had a mouse and everything.
Wow.
So at that point I was using that to sequence drums and then chopping up the samples and, you know, doing all the shit that needed to be done.
Now, on your second album, did that do as well as the first one?
Yes, it did.
Really?
It did.
Okay. Let's back up a little bit.
If not better.
Okay. Let's back up a little bit. Your first one drops. You guys get booked for any shows?
We were touring. Tomas had this thing where he already had cities that he had brought CLS, Night Owl, and Johnny J to. Okay. So he already kind of had like a foundation of where we're gonna go already. We were already doing Salt Lake, and we barely had an album that barely came out. We were touring all over the place. We were doing backyard boogies. We were doing whatever the fuck we could get practice on crafting our performance.
And you taking the stage, you ever forget your lyrics?
At that time, no, because they were fresh in my brain. They're fresh. A lot of people trip on there. When I do a show now, I rehearse my ass off. Like, I don't fuck around. I'll stay in there. I'll rehearse like 2 or 3 times a day, maybe 2 to 3 weeks ahead before the show even comes. I like my shit to be tight. And the reason I'm like that is because I'm so busy working on so many tracks, doing so much shit that you're gonna forget some shit. If it's like fucking having a glass of water and pouring water in there, shit comes out. You know what I mean? And for me to have to remember it, I have to I rehearse my ass off. Just the perfectionist in me and not wanting to make a fool out of myself on stage.
Right. Okay, so now your second one drops, and that one does very well.
Well, we recorded that, like I said, we recorded that in the studio. We had our shit together. Everything was clean as fuck. We were using ADATs. We were recording on ADATs at that time. Ask.
Was it 2-inch? But you say ADATs. For those of you that may not know what an ADAT is, they're actually like VHS cassettes. That's the best way you can describe it.
Digital. Yeah. They were digital though. Yeah. So it was clean.
And so now that drops. You guys can still continually doing shows?
Yeah, the shows it started getting to the point where people were calling us for shows instead of us trying to force our way into shows, because we'd be, we'll see if we could get you on. We'll see if there's a 5-minute segment for you. We'll see what we can do. But once we would hit that stage, the audience would go crazy, and they would, well, just let them keep going. Let them keep going. Fuck it, they're doing a good job. They're doing a better job than the headliner. Yeah, let them keep going.
Hey, sometimes that happens because a lot of the guys that are trying to get up there, they put on a hell of a show, and the fucking headliner's lazy. Doesn't give a shit.
You're hungry. Yeah, you're hungry, so you're gonna do the best you can. You're doing the best you can. You're at that point where you want that audience to give you the love that you want to get from them.
Yeah. Some of the best shows I've ever seen, and I was thankful to be either up on stage with them or backstage with them before they get ready to go on. But some of the best shows I've ever seen was NWA perform.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. I would have loved to have seen that.
Dude, I was backstage with them, and then I went off to the side of the stage, and I saw them perform to see Dre and Yella on the turntables, Easy, everybody yelling, "We want Easy." It was just electric, okay? The next one I saw that went up there by himself, and he had one guy beatboxing, and because he wasn't supposed to perform that night, but he was just there, was KRS-One.
Oh, shit.
And he just went up there and wrecked shit. The whole fucking audience knew his song.
He was beatboxing?
No, he had somebody beatbox.
While he was rapping over it?
Yeah, rapping. After that, I would probably say Cypress Hill's first album. I saw them tear shit. After that, bro, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know if anybody can fuck with these guys. Like, seriously.
That's a group I'd like to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Cypress Hill.
Dude, I've seen them wreck shows where the fucking audience is just jumping up and down, dude. And it's funny, I was with them in Florida. Dogg, we're talking, we're drinking Coronas, and he looks all bored, and he goes, "Yeah, we just win gold." And this was off the first album, and I said,
all sad.
I said, well, shit, you ought to be buying me beers. He goes, yeah, but we're still on this promotional tour.
Financial.
They weren't getting paid.
Financial.
Yeah.
I could tell you that before you even were going to tell me.
Yeah.
It's fine. You know what's dope about hearing you tell these stories is that they're in your brain.
Yeah.
They're in your brain. They're not on a cell phone. It's not something it's something you captured in your brain. You were looking at it with your eyes.
Yeah.
Because the problem is when you're like this, you're missing the moment by looking at your screen. Really pay attention to yourself next time you're at the show. I'm talking to you guys, but when you're at the show and you're like this, put the phone down and watch the show for a second, and there's a big difference between watching it on your phone and actually watching it in person. There's a big difference. You'll enjoy it so much not picking your phone up.
And I'm glad you shared that, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because I do think to a certain extent, I know pictures and videos to capture the moment. I understand that.
Right.
One of my boys, big up to my boy Big Daddy Swoles, he was bodyguarding for MC Hammer. I just recently went to go see Hammer, went backstage, had a chance to meet him. And I shared this with Mellow Man and a couple other people that being backstage with Hammer, I would say the first time ever, and I've been in a lot of backstage rooms with all different artists. This was probably the most positive energy that I've ever felt. You know, not only just from him, but also from his dancers, his manager, his DJ, whatever. It was so powerful, man, that I felt so peaceful that I didn't want to leave. You know, so I shook his hand, talked to him, and I went up on stage. And I shot a couple of stories on Instagram just to post up.
Oh, this was recent.
Recently, a week or a week and a half ago. So I just put the phone back on my pocket, and I told my boy who was bodyguarding for him, and I go, I want you to look at the crowd. They're not into it, and I'm gonna tell you why they're not into it, because they're too busy like this.
Mm-hmm.
The entire crowd was doing this, and they weren't even bobbing their head or nothing.
If you would have seen one of Hammer's shows back in the day, the energy would have been way different.
Way different. And I think
different.
To a certain extent, because technology is good, but this has kind of ruined the moment, you know, the show, if you will.
Right,
so,
right.
So I get it. I understand it. And I'm thankful that there's like that quote that I like to post up every once in a while. Thank God that I had a childhood before technology took over.
Right.
You know, so now you see parents that go out with their kids, and the parents are possibly old school, and they're eating, and their 4 kids are on their cell phone. They don't even talk to nobody.
It's kind of the parents' fault for not checking them.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what, whenever we have Thanksgiving here, nobody brings their cell phone to the table. That's it. Nobody does.
Yeah,
so,
that's good.
And that's the way I do it. But so now, second album's dropped. Is there a third one?
Yeah, there's a third album. It's called the 805 Family, and by that time, we had made enough money to purchase some equipment.
Okay.
So even though the studio, we would polish our shit up and go to the studio, I got tired of going to the studio whenever I had creative ideas, dog. Like, I got tired of making demo versions.
Yeah.
And even though the shit was polished and we sounded good, I noticed that we would lose a little bit of the rawness from the time we made the demo version to the time that we were in the studio. And like I said, they sounded really polished, but some of the demo versions had like this performance sound to it that it was raw, dog.
Yeah.
And the emotion, for us to go back and have to do it again,
to recreate that passion.
Exactly. Sometimes you can't get that emotion that you're getting when you're in front of the mic for the very first time, spitting that,
right,
or singing that, or whatever the fuck you're doing in front of the mic. So I went and got myself another 4-track player, but this was a digital 4-track player, and it was a mini disc 4-track player, and it was clean as fuck. I want to say it was a little cleaner than the ADATs. And I did the whole third album off that 4-track player, and then took it someplace to mix it down.
You know, and I'm glad you're bringing up the 4-track, because today people, again, technology is good. I don't have nothing against people working with today's technology when it comes to making music, but you were limited to a 4-track and to your budget, okay? I did all my mixtapes on 4-tracks. We got a record deal off of a 4-track mixtape. You were using 4-track. People like the Beatles, people like the Doors, people like Joplin, they all had 4-tracks.
Right.
Albums.
Right.
Today, I just think, again, my opinion, people have so much more, and I think music has gone.
They're not getting as creative as they can because they have too much shit to work with. I know that sounds retarded, but it's I feel like the more options you give someone, the more it's gonna confuse them and fuck them up, and maybe you might not get what you're gonna get.
Right.
Versus the person that's hungry and struggling and wishing they had all this shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? Let me explain to you guys something about the 4-track that a lot of people don't. I think they're thinking you could just record shit on there. You can't. If you have all these layers of vocals that you have to do, you have to make room for what, for instance, you have to have the beat on one track, and now after that you only have 3 tracks to fucking work with. It's not unlimited where you could just click the mouse and open arm all these fucking tracks. It's not like that.
Right.
Let's say you're doing a double on your vocals. You have to take that double and mix it over here as perfectly as you can to that one track, so that you can have these 2 open tracks to do backups, maybe your hook. Maybe you might want to put your hook in stereo on those 2 tracks.
Right.
And if you're lucky, sometimes people will have to take that mix and maybe mix it down to another outside source to bring it back again, so you could have 3 more open tracks.
Right.
So it's a lot of bouncing, it's called bouncing that we had to do at that time.
For those of you that are watching and are listening and possibly don't know nothing about music, I would say 90% of the oldies that you listen to, if not all of them, were done on 4 tracks.
Exactly.
We're all done on 4 track.
Reel to reel 4 tracks, what they were using at
Richie
that time.
Valens, or whether it be Mary Wells, or whether it be the Oogum Boogum guy,
Brentwood.
You know, I mean, that's where it was all done at. And again, as a matter of fact, the intro song to Roadium Radio was done on a mixtape. The mixtape was called In Effect.
I know you know about bouncing.
On 4 track, absolutely, because we were limited. My best mixtape that a lot of people like, that I'm most known for, did it in 1988. It's called 88 Boom and Bass. It's constant mixing all the way through, done on 4 track. So you know you have to go back and forth, and it motherfucker get confusing. But that's how I learned how to use a 4 track. But here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna press pause on that 4 track, and we're gonna come back after this break. As a matter of fact, we're gonna go ahead and get some beer, and we're gonna chill. We're gonna talk.
Before we take a break, can I say something real quick?
Go for it.
I used to listen to his mixes and wonder how the fuck did you have like 8 turntables lined up and you were like hitting, like how the fuck was he able, before I knew what the 4 track was, I was like wondering how the fuck you were able to like come in song after song and then be scratching while you're mixing. And I was like, how the fuck did he do that? Once I discovered what a 4 track was, I knew how he did it.
Hey, you heard it here, Roadium Radio, DJ Dominator, 808 in the building. Once again, much love, much respect to everybody that's tuned in. Call somebody, text somebody. As a matter of fact, break a bottle over somebody's fucking head and let them know that DJ Dominator is in the building.
Fuck him up.
Fuck him up.
I'm about to cold tear shit up. DLT, you got a level? Steve, hit record, man.
Get busy, easy, and Tony A on the 12 techniques, see?
Here's a little something about a nigga like me. They never should have let me try to take from the stage. Yo, this is your main man stage. You don't like Tony A, well, fuck. I'm rocking shit at the Roadium.
Yeah, what up? This is Mr. Night Owl, and I'm chilling right here with John motherfucking Elkins. Beware, motherfuckers, cause we coming.
heard about this young kid from the Harbor area named Tony A, and he was a DJ, you know what I'm saying? He was going in with the big stars, you know what I'm saying? And he was like one of us going in and infiltrating inside of all these MCs, you know what I'm saying?
A Roadium mixtape is just mixed of different types of music, no matter what genre it is. And like I said, it's like making your own musical movie.
When La Raza came out, man, even the amount of sales of the single of La Raza that got moved out of the Roadium was crazy, bro. And that song just got played and was played in all the stands over there. And I was blessed to go back one time even to see it, and I want to say in 91 or 92.
Although they were not black, they were Oriental, Asian, whatever you want to call them, they were cool. And they embraced everybody, blacks, Latinos, whoever came to the swap meet to want to buy music, they were record people.
Yo, right about now, Dr. Dre is in effect. Cold tearing shit up with my man Steve at the Roadium swap meet. And we here to lay it on the line. To all them sucker niggas out there claiming our tapes and shit, we just got one thing to say.
Look at you boy, your ass is mine. Look at you boy, your ass is mine. Look at you boy, your ass is mine. Yeah! Now my name is Dr. Dre. Now my name is Dr. Dre. Now my name is Dr. Dre. Went to a party in West LA. Wanna learn a new dance, that's what you say. What is a new dance that can't be matched? So just dance to the floor and do the cat. Here it come, here it come, here it kitty come, come. Here it come, here it come, here it kitty come, come.
Ice Cube getting dumb at the Roadium with the funky drum, and you know my man Steve can get some. With a fool like Tony A when he plays stupid dope shit by WA. You wanna spray? Dumb motherfuckers, no doubt. And sucker DJ, get the fuck out. Tony A.
What did you say your name? What did you say?
Tony A.
I have won 1 million battles. Lights, cameras, action, sound. Give me that mic, I'm about to go down.
Thinking of a master plan.
This story's funny. I met this girl and she had money.
Lonzo, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
You sure?
Motherfucker, I'm ready, goddamn!
Like it ain't shit, cause I'm a player motherfucker named DJ Quick.
It's a full-time jack move. Billy Joe, yo, homie, make the track move. Freestyle, man, mama keeps a big check. Sweat dripping, girl, it's a little when you
Walked in the house, got shot. 1, 2, 3. Motherfucker, don't down. Shit. This is it, y'all.
Daddy.
Keep going.
Cut. We're good. Yo, everybody, welcome back to Roadium Radio episode 35. And I just got caught slipping, just pouring a little bit of tequila right here. I put that there just so maybe somebody wants to sponsor me. I'll drink your shit live. And somebody asked me, what does my t-shirt say? It says, I didn't ask to be Mexican, I just got lucky. So I got lucky.
That's dope.
With these 19-inch pythons. That was little Hulk Hogan. So, anyways, brother.
Let me show my shirt too.
Yeah, go for it, go for it. OG Dominator, that's a dope-ass cover right there, man.
That's the cover for my album.
Yeah. I had a question. You know what, I should have asked this earlier. When was the first time you ever heard your music on the radio?
It was on the third album, the Underworld 805 Family album, and we had a they played. First, they played a song we had called "True." We had sampled Spandau Ballet.
Oh, dope!
And the song was called "True," and then the second song we had was "Dangerous," and I actually sampled another one, "Bites of Dust," Queen.
Okay.
We fucked that one up, and they played. We had to make edited versions for the radio, but they played the fuck out of it. Our local radio stations played the shit out of it. They played the fuck out of it, man. Every time I turned the radio on, it was on.
So True was the first one.
True was the first one, and they played the fuck out of that one, and the women loved that one.
Now, were you at the station when they played it? Did somebody call you? Did you just happen to turn on the radio?
No, there was this club called Limbagos in our area. It's closed down now, but in Napomo there was a club called Limbagos, and the radio station was doing like a promotional thing out there. And I had the DJ. I already knew they were there, and I had the DJ spin "Dangerous" for me. And the dude seen the way everyone was reacting to it. He's like, "What the fuck?" He's like, "What is this? Who is this?" You know. So he found out who I was. He came up to me. He's like, "Dude, I want some of this shit. I'm gonna play it on the radio." When they could do shit like that,
right?
They can't do shit like that anymore.
Right.
But at that time, the program he was the program director of the station.
Okay.
So he came and I shot him the whole CD, and he's like, "I want a edited version of True and an edited version of Dangerous." And after that, he played the fuck out of it, dog. Like he really pushed it.
Heavy rotation.
Heavy rotation with nothing behind it, no money behind it, nothing. He just played the fuck out of it.
Okay, and that album's taken off.
And that album took off. And then the fourth album, we had a song called "Baby Girl" that Pocos Pero Locos had. They spun that. My boy E-Dub, shout out to E-Dub and Kool-Aid. E-Dub pushed the shit out of "Baby Girl," and something we didn't get into. The fourth album that we did. We had already left the first 805 Underworld label, and went to this and created our own label called Artistic Records, and that was with Marvin Gonzalez and Jerome Stevens. And we pretty much had our own label. We had freedom to do whatever the hell we wanted. I mean, we always had freedom, but this was our label at this point. And with this label, we ended up doing 2 records with them. And E-Dub got behind us and helped us push this. We had already recorded with E-Dub in the past, but at this point, you know, we were homies. And he was. Oh, this record, "Baby Girl," was featuring Michael Cooper from Confunction. So the label, we had some money behind us at this point, and the label paid for him to fly down. He went to my mom and dad's pad, and we recorded "Baby Girl" there at the spot.
Oh.
That was for that album did great. And the album after that, our 5th album, called "Another Way," after we had success with that last album, the 5th album, when we released the 4th album, we had a album release party for the Masterpiece, our 4th album. And they are like, "Who do you want for your openers? Who do you want for your album release party?" I told them that's easy, SOS Band. So they brought SOS Band, and they actually opened up for us at our album release party.
Wow.
So they opened up for us, and then we closed the show and we killed it. But the cool thing about it was we had worked something out with her. So the next day, after the show, Mary Davis came over from SOS Band, came to my house, and we recorded a track together that second day. It was fucking amazing, dude. I had SOS Band in my fucking parents' pad in my room where my studio was at. Who the fuck can say that?
Right.
No one can say that.
Right.
No one can fucking say that. That's like one of those moments. And once again, I didn't have one. This is actually a time I wish I would have had a fucking cell phone to record.
Oh, you could have had a Polaroid.
Oh yeah. Oh, we took a few pictures. Yeah, we took a few pictures, but it was really dope because one thing I wanted to talk about this during the interview. She had sat me down and had a talk with me, and she's like, "Before we start recording, cheers. Let me get a drink too."
Go for it, man. That's why they're there. They're not props.
Before we started recording, she said, "Can I sit down and have a talk with you?" And I was like, "Yeah." And it was crazy because no other artist had ever told me that.
Right.
She's like, "I just want to sit down and chat with you about a few things." And I go, "All right, cool." So I sat down with her, and she was like, you know, Art. She was calling me Art. She goes, you know, I just want to wish you the very best for your career. I want things to go good for you. She's like, I don't do songs with rappers. I've never done a song with a rapper. She's like, for some reason, something made me want to do this song with you guys. She goes, she goes, I know you guys have been through some things. She goes, I just think that you need to be spiritual. She wasn't preaching to me. She just told me to bring some spirit into my life, and that we'll go a lot further. We'll go a long way with our career as long as we bring some spirit into our lives. And I was tripping out, dude. I was like, she sat me down and told me this shit right now, dude. It changed me. It tripped me the fuck out.
Right.
What artist does that? And there's no one else that can say they worked with SOS Band. Google it.
Right. Hey, you know what, man? Let me tell you something. That's a special moment. I had one special moment like that, and I won't take too long. But what you said, that type of conversation that you had with her, I had it with Tina Marie.
Oh, fuck.
Okay. I had it with Tina Marie. I had her number. She would actually borrow some of my keyboards every once in a while because I used to collect a lot of vintage keyboards, like the Hohner Clavinet, 88 key, Fender Rhodes. I had all the Moogs.
Oh, you had the Fender Rhodes? Do you still have the Fender Rhodes?
I got rid of everything. But I Oberheim, the ARP Odyssey, I had all of that shit here. And she loved the 88 key Fender Rhodes. So she lived in Pasadena at the time. May she rest in peace. And I took her down there one time, and she was just playing it, and she would put the Moog on top of the Fender Rhodes. And I'm over here cringing because I'm like, I kept my shit like in mint condition. She said, this is the way we all used to do it. So she would play the Moog with the 88 key Fender Rhodes.
Right on top of it?
Right on top of it. Oof. And so she had a talk with me or something like that, which I probably won't share, you know, but one day I will. But she did a song with me. I was producing a song for Mellow Man Ace. We redid a song, Loving You by Minnie Rippleton. And I played it on my very first show when I interviewed Mellow. So if people want to hear it, you can go to episode 1 with Mellow Man Ace. It's at the very end. And we end the show by just playing that song. Mellow rapping and she's singing the chorus, Loving You. Dope. Yeah, so people can go check that out. But as a matter of fact, I am going to have Mellow back because his birthday's coming up and I want to celebrate his birthday here. So we'll probably play that song again. But
we'll be here.
Yeah, most definitely. You got to bring some tri-tip. Okay,
I will.
But yeah, man, you know what? I'm glad you shared that. I'm sure people are now seeing a side of you that maybe they never seen or stories that they never heard because you don't do interviews.
I don't do it. I'm a fucking hermit, Doug. I'll admit it. I'm a hermit. The only time I ever get out is to buy food or go do a show or, you know, that's it. And to exercise. I go hiking and shit like that. But that's about it, Doug.
Wow. Well, next time I go out towards your way, I'm going to hit you up and we're going to have to go get something to eat out there. You know, do something. I'll get you out. We'll talk music, inspire you. Then you can go back home, throw on your trench coat and start playing your keyboards on me. Maybe I'll inspire something.
Yeah.
So now let me ask you. This is just for me. What inspired you to just stay on that funk sound, which I think it's dope? Okay, because I listened to your last album. I know we're kind of getting into it a little bit, but I thought that shit was fucking amazing. And I encourage everyone. You're welcome, brother. I encourage everyone to go listen to your music because I think you're one of those guys that's kind of like a hidden gem that people have heard about, but you need to be out more in the masses. People need to hear more of DJ Dominator because I think you have an incredible talent. People just need to hear more of you, you know. And I believe hopefully this is just a start that this video or should I say this interview will travel and people will listen to it, hit you up, work with you, hire you, whatever the case may be, because I really do believe that you're talented. I mean, not only do you rap, you sing, you play talk box, you produce your own music, you edit your own videos. I mean, it's all there, you know. So I wanted to brag a little bit about you.
Hey, gracias, I appreciate that, Doug. It's hard for me to brag about myself.
Well, you know what?
I'm just not one of those people.
When people give me compliments, I want to hide under the table because I don't know how to accept it. I'll be honest with you. I had to tell my brother one time when I was younger, I said, man, people compliment me all the time. I don't know what to say. He would just say thank you. That's it. And I was like, I know, but I even feel embarrassed saying that. And he goes, just say thank you. So Anyways.
Well, I play guitar. I play the bass. I do keys. And one of my favorite instruments is to play the turntables, mix and scratch. Yes. That was my first instrument. I can tell you that right now. That was my first instrument. I mean, I like playing. I play drums. I do congas. I do everything, dog. When it comes to music, and the weird thing about it is that I don't want to say my playing is spectacular or genius or anything like that, but I have a way of putting the songs together where it really sounds like I know what the fuck I'm doing. And I really don't know what the fuck I'm doing. What I do is I just play, and whatever the fuck sounds good is what comes out of me. I feel like it's spiritual. Like, I'm not trying to get deep. I just feel like something just comes through me, and oh shit, because I'll listen to this album and I'm like, how the fuck did I do that? Oh, how the fuck did that come out of me? How?
I got an interesting question, because this used to happen to me all the time when I was more of an active producer. There would be some times where your mind just doesn't shut up. It keeps going, it keeps going, it keeps going. Yeah. You lay down to crash finally. And then you're pretty much in the dark with your eyes wide open. Mm-hmm. You seem to doze off, and then you wake up because you hear a boom bap. Mm-hmm. And then I have to get up, turn my shit on, and start. Does that happen to you?
Dog, I'm telling you, right now I'm composing in my brain. And I don't do it on purpose. I'm not being rude.
Right.
But I'm composing in my brain. There's a song in my brain right now.
Right.
And I can't fucking turn it off. I can't. I try to. When I go to sleep, I really try. So I do have a way that I've fixed that from fucking me up in the nighttime. What I do is, because I'll wake up and my brain is already composing when I wake up. It's already halfway through the song. And I'm not joking, dog. They'll be halfway through the song and I'm like, fuck, dude. And before, what I used to do, I would get up, go into the studio in the next room and start laying the drum track down just to satisfy my inner soul so I could fall back asleep. And then I go back to the bed, and being up, the lights and all that shit, I would not fall back asleep.
Right.
It just, you're not, your brain's still composing.
Here's another one. Even during sex. I still hear like...
Even more so, because you're doing rhythmic shit.
Yeah. Well...
It's funny, but I'm not fucking around.
And you have the clap going.
That's the sound.
Yeah.
That's the sound you're talking about.
Of course. Sounds like...
Well, let me tell you how I fixed that, Doug. If you still have issues with it, this is how I fixed my problem. This is where this comes in handy. There's a sound, there's a memo, the voice memo. I'll beatbox the sound, or I'll hum it, whatever the fuck, turn it back off, and I'll knock the fuck out now. I don't have to go into the studio. As long as I put it down somewhere, I'm good.
That's dope, man. That's dope. So, the 5th album drops. What comes for you next?
The 5th album dropped, and after that, I think the label was having we were having financial problems. We had spent all that money on fucking SOS Band, and we were just spending money left and right. But a lot of things good came from that. You know, we were making another stepping stone. After that, Rebel continued. Rebel has a family, so he wanted to raise his kids, and he wanted to do what he had to do, you know, and I fully respected him for that. So I sat down, I talked to him, I told him, hey bro, I have all this material here. I'm going to finish up a solo album. And, you know, I wanted to talk to him and be respectful about it and not just do it behind his back, because I'm not like that, dog. I'll come out in the open and say what has to be done. If he disagreed with it, then I probably would have said, all right, well then, motherfucker, we're going to do another Triple C album. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I knew he was going to be understanding about it, because he's a cool ass motherfucker.
Yeah.
I have nothing but respect for my partner. He's still my partner. Right. There's still a Triple C. As a matter of fact, we got another Triple C album coming, a few months maybe. And it's been about 19 years since we released our last album. By this time, I was already doing a solo album. So I dropped this first solo album, Dominator, Love It or Hate It. And I had a song on there called Your Love Is Bomb that E-Dub once again got behind me, played the fuck. It wasn't just E-Dub that played it. DJ Wicked, who I brought with me today, also played it. He played the shit out of it on a station called 103, The Vibe, and with the Mexicans. And he spun the fuck out of it, dog. Like every chance he could, I know he spun it. I know he was behind me, supporting me and spinning it.
Dope.
So shout out to my boy DJ Wickham.
That's dope, man. So all this time, well, you guys, I don't want to call it breaking up, but you guys, for the moment, took time out, started creating your own. You created your own project, and he's pretty much raising his family.
He did a little solo album himself.
Okay.
Yeah, he did a solo album.
So there was never like a squabble or
no.
Okay.
No, as a matter of fact, I put Rebel on the solo album.
Oh, dope.
I put him on the solo album. He's
Okay.
He's on a couple of tracks with me on there.
Well, you said it's possibly that will drop in a couple of months.
With the Triple C album?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
A few months, 3 or 4 months.
Okay, when you guys do that, let me know like before it drops. I want to bring both of you guys back on here.
Hell yeah.
You know, both of you guys will promote it, and I would like to know.
He was gotcho about not being able to come, Doug. He was like, ah! It hurt. I could tell it hurt him.
Oh shit.
He really wanted to come, Doug.
Okay, well, if you're listening, much love, much respect to Rebel. You're gonna be here, bro. You're gonna be drinking with us, and you're gonna be chilling and kicking it with us. Don't worry.
He's a cool motherfucker too, Doug.
Next time I'm gonna have him bring me some tri-tip. Okay. So we can grow up.
Hey, shit, if I would that time, I would have brought some today. I was telling the boys I wanted to bring some.
Well, next time, brother, we'll plan it.
Yeah, definitely.
So, first album drops. How did that do? You said that EW and them were blowing it up.
It did good. It did good. I had the song "Your Love Is Bomb" that just blew the fuck up. I'm telling you.
Now, when you say "Your Love Is Bomb," what were you talking about?
I'm talking about, girl, if you let me take you home, I promise I will call tomorrow. And if by chance you let me bone, we gonna leave the lights on. Dominator, that's my name. Ain't too many hoochies hip to my. When you see my eyes and you hear my job, baby, can you tell the difference from the truth to a lie?
Dope.
Your love is bomb.
Round of applause, everybody. Come on, man. Give it up. Hell yeah. I know that was a nice cheek clapper right there, homie. So anyway, let me get a quick refill. But so now that album drops, are you doing any shows?
Oh, I was doing a lot of shows at that time, actually.
Okay. Now, did you ever do a lot of shows out here this way?
We did, dog. We've done so many fucking shows that I can't even. People will come up to me and they're like, "Oh yeah, I met you." I was like, "What city?" I mean, we weren't fucked up during our shows, but I've seen so many faces in my life that I can't.
Right.
When I see someone I can't remember their name, I'm not being a dick. I'm not doing it on purpose, but I just can't remember.
Right. No, I get the same thing. Like, I go places and people will tell me, "Hey, what's up?" And I'm like, "What's up?" "Yeah, I'm Big Bear from Instagram." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah. I don't know who you are." "Yeah, I follow you." "Okay, well, I don't know who Big." And his fucking picture is a truck. Like, I'm really gonna fucking recognize him.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I get that a lot too. Man, people get butthurt, over that. But I try not to hurt nobody's feelings. Now, let me ask you this. Do you ever get people that possibly recognize you, know who you are, but it kind of comes across like they're mad dogging you? And
yes, that's the biggest thing right there. When I look and I'm like, are they dogging me? Are you dogging me, motherfucker? Or am I going to have to get down right now? Or are you a fan?
Right.
And a lot of times I would think they were dogging me and they would end up being fans.
I know.
A lot of I want to say like 95% of it, they were fans. And later on, they hit me up on Instagram. "Hey, dog, I just did them. I was kind of embarrassed to come up to you," or, you know, I don't trip on shit like that. I'm cool, dog. I'll sign an autograph. I'll take a picture. I'm cool like that. I'm a down to earth motherfucker. I don't care.
Yeah. No, that's good, man. That's good to hear. So that solo album drops. What comes next?
For a while, that album dropped in 2004.
Okay.
And from then till maybe about 2008, I was just creating because I never stopped creating, but I just wasn't putting shit out. And I wasn't really big on Facebook or, you know, Instagram or any of that shit. MySpace, no, I wasn't really too big on going on there all the time.
Right.
I was just into my music. So I remember at the time around 2008, I was going through a divorce, and I started drinking and getting fucked up a lot, dog. Like what most people do during divorces.
Right.
So I was getting fucked up. I was going to clubs. I was partying, having a good time. And I remember this one particular night, I was faded, and my boy Wicked was actually on the turntables at some club. I was like, what are you doing here? I hadn't seen him in a while. And remember, I told you he had been spinning the fuck out of my shit.
Right.
And I hadn't had anything out new. And he goes, hey, dog, he goes, we have this show called Throwback Sundays. He goes, we've had it on for a little while. And he goes, I'd like you to come and spin or do an interview. He goes, I'd like you to come and do an interview. And I said, hell yeah. I'm down, dog. Anything for you, dog. Yeah, I mean, he helped my career out at a time where people weren't playing shit on the radio.
Right.
You know what I mean? It was you had to pay someone to market your album and get shit on the radio, and that he was like my marketing boy when it came to doing shit like that, because that was my boy. So he goes, I'd like you to come down to the show and do an interview, and I told him, hell yeah. So I went down there. I did the interview. I spun a set in which he brought me out of retirement as a DJ, because at that point I was tired of spinning, dog.
Yeah, of course.
And I was tired of trying to please people at parties. I was no longer a mobile DJ. I was like, fuck that. I got tired of people bumping into my fucking tables and making the needle jump all over the fucking place, and people not being satisfied because one guy wants to hear this song. He goes to the restroom and he fucking comes back and he's like, are you gonna play that song? I'm like, I just played it, dog.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, dog. I'm gonna play that song. And I'm like, oh my God, dude, I'm tired of dealing with this shit.
Yeah, yeah.
But as a funk specialist and being able to come to the show and play funk, I was excited. I was like, no requests? We get to play whatever the fuck we want? He's like, yeah. So I spun a set, and he called me and he said, you want to come back again? And I go, hell yeah. So I went back, spun another funk set, and he goes, hey, my son, Little Wicked, he goes, he told me to ask you if you would do a theme song for the show. And I said, hell yeah. Called Throwback Sundays? And he goes, yeah. So I went home, and that the next weekend, I think I started on a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I worked on the song. By Sunday, I was done with it. Boom. So I showed up with it, and I go, here it is, dog. And he played it, and he was like, oh shit. Whoever was DJing, he made them get off the tables. We gotta play it right now.
Right.
We gotta play this shit now. So what I had done was I had replayed. I didn't sample. I replayed Kashif Stone in Love, and it did so good. We had to do a video for it, dog. So we did a video for it at the spot where we filmed Throwback Sundays. Had a good time, partied, filmed it, and it took off, dog, like fucking like fire, dude. And I was like, and that was the first time I had ever done like a full length funk song.
Right.
So that made me think to myself, dude, I could do this music that I love so much. Even though I love rap, I'll always have a love for rap, but I wanted to poke at this music that I had been raised with, that my mom had played. And it was like, it's different, dog. It's not like hip hop. It's not like rap. There's like a certain emotion in it that's, I'm telling you, I was raised on that shit, and I was like, I'm gonna try to create. Fuck it, if I could do this one song, and it was cool. It was a dope ass jam, but I wanted to make it. I wanted to do what I did with Throwback Sundays, but even more live.
Right.
Like because the drums were programmed and blah blah blah. I wanted to play actual drums.
Okay.
And play live sounds and play the guitar. So I experimented with it and ended up wanting to do funk.
Okay. You know, let me ask you a question. Who are some of your, and I probably know these answers, but I want to hear them from you. Who are some of your favorite hip hop producers?
Oh shit. I love.
Give me at least 5.
Oh shit, 5. That's good. I'm glad you said 5.
They don't have to be in order either.
DJ Quick.
I knew that one.
Battle Cat. Those are my like 2 top favorite producers. After that,
You ever heard of a guy named Dr. Dre?
Oh, come on. I shouldn't even have to say that one. That's already
a given.
That's already a given. That's why I didn't even say that.
Okay.
But something about Quick sound is just, it's funky.
Right.
And that drew me like right away. It drew me to, I was like, oh dude, this sounds like the shit I was raised on. Like, but they're rapping over it. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Dude, and Second to None. And by the way, I have a track with Second to None.
Dope.
Yeah, I have a track with Second to None. It's called Dry Hump.
Dry Hump.
Yeah, it had to be something nasty if it was Second to None.
Of course.
Dog, I'm starting to feel a little buzz, so I'm not gonna remember the rest of the fucking producers that I would. That shit, that shot. It's a good ass shot.
That's good. Another one's coming, so let's keep it going.
Was that a good answer for your questions?
No, it was. It was. Okay. I'm gonna tell you who brags a lot about you. Actually, a lot of people do, but MC Pancho, okay, and Seven.
Oh yeah, Seven is my boy.
Yeah, Seven.
And Pancho, I would like to hang with him and grub some of that food that he likes to fucking display all the time.
Yes. Much love, much respect to MC Pancho.
Hey, gracias, homie. I appreciate that.
You know where you need to go? I don't know if
Seven is my dog.
Yes.
Seven's the one that put me on.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, he's the one that was like, dog, you need to be on that show. You gotta be on that show, dog.
Now, okay.
As a matter of fact, a lot of people have been messaging me and they're like, dude, Tony A, dude, you got to be on that show. Why haven't you been on that show yet? Why haven't been? I'm like, he already hit me up. We're already talking about it.
Right. There's a lot of people that tell me, when are you going to get this? They don't really even fucking realize they're already booked. You just got to wait.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you one thing. This is the plug for the Regent. You ever go into the Scam Jam?
No, I haven't been there.
You need to go.
Lala hasn't invited me yet.
Okay, well.
Lala, you haven't invited me yet.
I'll invite you. Pancho is the host. So he always invites me, puts me on the list. It's funk all fucking night, bro. Like, seriously. They do it once a month. So every month,
do they have guest spinner people?
It's all women DJing.
Oh.
Honestly, let me tell you something. There's one girl.
It's nice seeing a woman spin.
I think her name is Angie. Yes, and she can really spin, bro. I mean, I'm talking about her mixes. Don't sound like somebody threw some shoes in a dryer. You know what I'm saying? Like
she's actually
good, bro.
It's not a train wreck. It's not.
Doesn't sound like the fucking Santa Anita horse track races. You know, pero I'm telling you, she could spin dope, and then they play like disco, freestyle, but they play funk all fucking night, bro. You know, that's one thing I will say about us Chicanos, man, is that this funk to us never got old. You know, Ray Parker Jr., the Barcades, you know, Earth, Wind and Fire, it never got old.
Singing to the choir, homie.
Yeah, like we've never said, oh, that's some old shit. No, it's not.
No.
You know, it just never got old. To most people, oh, they're fucking outdated. It never got old to us. That's why whenever they perform, who's there? We are.
Yeah, exactly.
We buy all the tickets, okay? We support them. We buy their music. We buy their apparel, whatever.
Dog, I've opened for so many old school groups.
Give us a couple of names while I pour some of this.
I opened for War. I opened for Gap Band. I opened for Cameo. I opened for what other groups? The Barcades. I opened for Midnight Star. SOS Band opened for me.
That's dope.
Dog, I just you know what's crazy is I take my vinyl. I have my bag of vinyl that I take to every show. So I have a big fucking collection of vinyl signed.
Right.
As a matter of fact, I barely put I put up a post on my Instagram of some of the vinyl I have signed, and two of them are Michael Jackson signatures, Off the Wall and Thriller. I have those two signed.
Wow.
When he came to court to Santa Maria, me and my homie Crazy Boy were over there at that actual when he came out. He was jumping on the car all crazy.
Oh, you were there?
I was there.
Shit.
Doug, when I found out he was at the court, I grabbed my vinyl. You know what's fucked up is that I have 8 tracks, and I have Off the Wall, the 8-track at my parents' pad, and I was disappointed that I didn't have it at my pad. But we ran over there, and I had both those records, and when he came out, I was like, oh my Michael, holding the fucking records up and shit, all crazy. And what's crazy, I looked around, and all I seen were people holding up were CDs, posters. No one had vinyl. I was the only one that had vinyl there. I was like, what the fuck? No one here has a Michael Jackson record? Are you fucking kidding me?
Right.
So I was holding the vinyl up, and he comes up to us. He's oh, hey. You know, he wouldn't get that close to us. He was like a few feet away. He's like, that guy right there. He told his bodyguard. So his bodyguard grabbed the vinyl, and he fucking signed him for me, dog.
Fuck, that's dope. That's dope, man. You know what? I'm gonna ask you a tough question right now, okay? Before we get into your album. If you had to choose to listen to one artist over the other, Michael Jackson or Prince?
Prince.
Same here.
Prince.
You know what? And it almost sounds almost disrespectful because we love both of them.
It's not disrespectful. It's just that Prince is a fucking genius, dog.
Yeah.
And if you listen to his music, you know he played every fucking instrument on that album.
Yeah.
It's edgier. He didn't give a fuck. You know he was fucking someone when he made that shit.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
He fucked every chick that he was in a video with.
Why not?
That dude was he was a player.
Hey, check this out. Okay. I was watching Purple Rain, I want to say late last year. Okay? I was watching Purple Rain, and my son walks in. At this time, I think he is about 27. My son. As a matter of fact, his birthday's tomorrow. He's going to be 29.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday,
Happy early birthday.
So
happy early birthday.
Yes, sir. Happy early birthday to my son, B. Scanless. So now, I'm watching Purple Rain, and, you know, I'm like digging that shit because I fucking love that movie. That guy's all right. He just starts criticizing him. And I just stood quiet.
Who?
My son is criticizing the movie. He's criticizing Prince. And I'm over here cringing because I want to whip his ass because I love Prince, okay? So I'm like, okay. I said, mijo, how old are you? 27. I go, do you know how old he was when he did that? He was like, no, 25. Think about that. Nobody ever really thinks about that. He was 25 years old when he did the Purple Rain. 25. That's when I went, me and my boy Angel, much love, much respect to him. We actually spent the night at Music Plus so that we can buy tickets the next morning to go see him at the Long Beach Arena.
What year?
I want to whatever year Purple Rain came out.
Oh, you seen him at that?
Yeah, right there.
Oh, dude, that's in his prime.
Yeah, dude, put it
I've
this way.
seen Prince in Bakersfield. That's why I'm asking you what year.
No shit.
Yeah.
Dude, he did Do Me Baby. He's on the piano. This guy's wearing boots, a fucking thong, and a trench coat. Okay? And now let me tell you something. And you know what's crazy? Girls are going fucking nuts. Girls are going nuts.
I don't give a fuck how nuts they would get. I wouldn't wear that shit.
I wouldn't wear that shit either. But Prince is the only guy that I guess we can agree that he can pull it off. He's the only guy that can yell and pull it off. And we can say that motherfucker was dope.
Yeah.
You know, may rest in peace. But, so now, tell us a little bit about your album as we're wrapping it up, because I love that record, bro. Where can people, just share a little bit about that record, bro.
Well, first off, this one right here is for you.
Thank you, man.
That's your copy. Hard copy. Hard copy. Those of you that have been hitting me up for hard copies, I have them.
Fuck. Okay.
And I'm planning on pressing it on vinyl soon too.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? That was a question somebody asked me. Ask him if the single, what was Scandal? If you're gonna press that up on single, well, or at least on vinyl.
I was thinking about doing Scandal on 45 because 45 is like a collector's item right now. People are like mad crazy about the 45s.
Yeah, and it's mostly all Chicanos right now.
Exactly.
So
I was thinking about doing Scandal on 45 and then the whole LP. Okay. The whole LP.
Okay. This shit right here, put it this way. This shit is so rare today that you don't even want to open it. You don't even want to open it, so.
And not only that, look at the cover, dog. Like the dude that designed it, he's from the UK, and I told him I need some shit that's gonna look good on vinyl. Sure, I told him what I wanted for it, and Danlish, his name is Danlish, and he killed that shit, dog. He did exactly what represented me.
Oh, what you were even thinking? Possibly.
What I was thinking, yeah. I told him what I wanted, and he threw me in front of a keyboard on some flying machine, this crazy shit. But that's those are the type of covers back in the day that we'd pick up Parliament covers and shit like that, and I'd be like, oh, this is dope, like little comic looking shit. So that's what he did.
Make sure you get at him now. Now, where can they get this if they wanted hard copies?
You can get at me on my Instagram. Get at me on my Instagram.
Yeah, the Instagram's been popping up. So, John, can you put up that album one more time, please?
Please put that up because I'm not gonna remember it right now.
Right. So he'll put it up. His Instagram went up. Can you put up the album cover? Oh, yeah, there you go. That shit is hard right there. So everybody can check out the album cover.
Hey, you blocked his face out, dog.
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. I'm gonna say something about Johnny Boy. This dude right here, he is like the Torrance Steven Spielberg, the Torrance Steve Jobs. I like to brag about him. I like to brag about other people other than me, but John motherfucking Elkins is the shiznit.
John Elkins.
He said I'm buzzed. You hear that?
You know what? I want to see that documentary, dog.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. The album. Let's get into the album before I forget and start.
Because we got probably about 1,000 people still watching right now, so we're good. So go ahead.
All right. Cool. So the album, like I said, let me get back to where I was at with Wicked and all, and Throwback Sundays. I started working on the album and playing all my live instruments, doing what I had to do. And I want to say, I can't really say it took, what was it, 2008 till now? 2010, because we filmed in 2010. It wasn't really 10 years of work that I put into that album.
Okay.
It was scattered work because I produced for other artists. I produced, as a matter of fact, let me give a shout to my boy, Mr. Criminal.
Okay.
I did a lot of his work during the time that I was working on that album. So I would work on his album. And the chemistry that me and him had was so fucking crazy, dog, that it would inspire me to do shit on I could do some shit on my album. Let me do some shit. He would leave, and once he would leave, I'd start working on my shit, like, right away. And it was me working on other people's shit, working here, working there, and then I'd jump back to my album whenever I possibly could during all those years. The last 2 years, I want to say I got super crazy on production on my album, playing guitars, getting ideas, making sure that the track was going to be what it should be. And then there's, I want to say I composed about a good 50 songs.
Wow.
And those are the songs that I picked to be on the album out of those 50 songs.
Out of those 50 songs.
Yeah.
And it's called OG Dominator, Time Traveler. Talk to us about the title.
Time Traveler. I was trying to think of, I didn't know what the hell to call this album, dog. I was like, what the fuck am I going to call it?
Right.
It needs to be something, just something. I think one of my homies gave me that idea. He's like, you're a time traveler, dog. He said something like that to me, and I can't even recall what homie it was that told me that. And I was like, fuck, that's the name of my album, dude. I'm not going to say anything because he's going to want money for that shit.
Right.
So I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to tell him that that's what I'm thinking in my brain.
Okay, now any panty droppers on here?
That shit is more like shit that's gonna make you move and want to dance.
Okay.
I'm gonna follow it up with another funk album that's gonna have some. But when you say panty droppers, you mean slow joints?
Well, panty droppers, something is gonna make the women drop their chonies. Like once they hear your shit, I guess it'll get them dancing, and it eventually.
I want to say "If You Want Me Back" has. A lot of girls have been like sending me posts with them singing it. That's one of the ones, and Scandal too, and the other one, Fast and Crazy.
Okay.
Girls send me posts with them singing that song and dancing to it and shit and fucking all crazy all the time, dog. All the time.
That's dope.
So though I would say those are the panty drops. But the next album, I have a few ideas in mind. Okay. I have artists that I'm working on with this, for the next album.
Okay, I'll tell you what. Let me throw some ideas. Try to do either a Let's Work or a Head spin-off from Prince.
Have you heard the whole album?
Yeah, I did.
Did you hear Come?
See, that's a good one.
Did you hear Come all the way to the end?
No, I didn't.
Dog, please listen to it all the way to the end and tell me what you think of it.
Okay.
It breaks down into 3 different segments. It's a long fucking song. Maybe that's why you didn't hear it.
Okay.
A lot of people are short attention span with music nowadays.
No,
Dog, if you listen to it all the way to the end and tell me what the fuck you think about that shit.
Okay, Come. So I'm going to listen to that one. Now, if you ever get a chance, look up the test pressing, or should I say the long version of Little Red Corvette by Prince. At the very, very end, he just totally switches it up, and it becomes a totally different other song. When you get a chance, if you haven't heard it, possibly it might be up on YouTube. Little Red Corvette at the very end is the long version. It just changes completely. It's not even Little Red Corvette anymore. It's like a whole new song. And it's a fucking dope ass fucking song, bro. So that's an idea I want to pitch to you. So get it before some of these.
I love ideas, dog.
Yeah.
Some of these, I take them and trust me, I run with them.
Dope. Okay, brother. Well, listen, any shout outs, anything you want to say, anything, anybody you want to mention?
You know what? I got a list of people that I've worked with.
Go ahead.
And my memory is fucking shot like a motherfucker.
It's okay. I poured you another shot just to help you.
Oh, yeah.
You could just sip on it. You don't have to.
Let me take a little. Let me do a little thingy. All right. So the thing about me is that I'm not really one to flex.
Like this?
Like that. But I'm going to flex a little bit. I want to do a list about the people that I've done some work with or been involved in something.
Okay.
Little Uno, Little Rob, Shadow, Baby Bash, Frank V of Proper Dos, Mary Davis of SOS Band, Michael Cooper of Confunction, Brentonwood, Alon, the Rock and Roll Gangster, Magic Girl, Carolyn, Rodriguez, Clique One, Don Cisco, Corrupt, Lucky Luciano, Snow the Product, Jenny Rivera, Nino Brown, Kid Frost, Mr. Criminal, My Dog, Brown Boy, Lala Romero, Cali Lifestyle, Lordside Gangster, Guete Yesca, David Salas, Gina Rodriguez. That's a little list that I came up with of people that I've done a little bit of work with in the vocal booth or done.
Dope.
And I wanted to put that list out there because, like I said, I'm not really one to flex on shit like that because I'm not a bragger, dog, but...
Dope. Hey, you know what? As a matter of fact, Guete Yesca was one of the guys also that was bragging about you, man. Yeah, as a matter of fact, today he even messaged me. He's gonna be some dope shit, and I was like, dope. He actually reposted your shit. Now, I'm gonna put him on blast a little bit, okay? This person right now that I'm about to mention. I've been reaching out to Mr. Criminal, and we actually finally been texting, but he says he's super busy. I believe him.
He's not lying to you.
Okay, I believe him. I need you to help me get him on here because the fans want him. Okay, so I got his number. He's got my number, and he said, "Yeah, I've been really busy." And I said, "Okay, whenever you're ready, you get at me." That's it. My motto here: I don't ask anybody a second time. I don't, and I don't mean that to be a fucking asshole. It's because I have Roadium Radio Gmail of over 200 songs that I still have to listen to of people that submit their songs. But I try to go after the people that people are constantly requesting, like yourself. You know, so if you can do that. So, Mr. Criminal, the fans want to see you. So, let's get you on here and let's get that out the way.
Hell yeah.
So, other than that,
I also want to give a shout out to my mom and dad for supporting my career and playing my music. My sister, my nephew, my niece, they play my music. They play the fuck out of it. Matter of fact, I was every time I go on my dad's barbecuing on Sundays, he's playing something, dog. And he'll play like random shit. Like I have this song called Female Dogs. I have this song called Throw Up, and he bumps that shit, dog. Like he bumps it hard. I love my parents, and they're my biggest supporters.
So okay. I'm gonna give my shout outs now. First of all, even though they're no longer here, I'm gonna give a shout out to my mother and my father. My father was a musician, even though he never played an instrument, and I think you'll understand what I mean by that. My father supported me, but my number one supporter as well was my mother, who was no longer here. And even though they're no longer here, man, I will say this, that oftentimes, and I'm a grown-ass man, I really miss them so much that many times I catch myself lonely because I don't have a mother and a father to go visit. So believe me, if you guys still have your mother and your father, go visit them. Go talk to them, cook with them, hang out with them, take them out, because we never know when we may lose them. Okay, so other than that, let me go ahead and once again hit up OG Dominator on his website, what should I say, on his Instagram. Hit him up for the hard copies, and I'm sure it's probably available on all platforms.
Yeah.
Okay, on all platforms.
All digital.
All digital platforms. And I also want to give a shout out to my boy Doc Nasty on his album Revelations 23. Hit him up on IG. If I'm correct, it's Doc Nasty, correct? Doc Nasty. It's DOCNASDEE. If you didn't catch that, go ahead and rewind that.
You say DOC?
Yeah, no, DOC.
I know,
Doc Nasty. Revelation 23. I don't put shit on here that's whack. Honestly, I'll be honest with you, but I will support this. This is my MC right here. Whenever I go DJ, this is my MC. So once again, we've been on each other since the 80s. Support him, follow him, look him up on all digital media platforms. Once again, the Roadium mixtapes, you can go ahead and get them on DOCUMIXERY.com. You can buy the 4-pack, which I'm running out of, or you can get all 3 of them, which is High C, 24/7, and 86 in the mix, because I'm running out of 88 booming bass, and I don't think I'm gonna be reprinting them again. So go ahead and do that. Then my personal shout outs go to my boy John motherfucking Elkins, the Steve Jobs Torrance. So go ahead and follow him, John motherfucking Elkins, on IG or JE Visuals. My boy D to the motherfucking G, DG Media Clips. Follow him on Instagram as well. Awesome pictures. He also helped us. Actually, he was a part of my team. He is my team on the Roadium Mixtape DOCUMIXERY. So go ahead and submit all your videos to DOCUMIXERY.com. If you've seen this documentary, make sure you send us a video 20 to 30 seconds. Okay, so other than that, send it to us at roadiumradio@gmail.com, and we're going to post it up possibly next week as soon as we get enough. We got a lot. We just need to edit them. Other than that, I don't know. Anything else you want to say, man? You want to give a shout out to your boys over here?
Next time you see me, I'll be with my boy Rebel.
Rebel, yes.
Rebel, Triple C, Central Coast Clique.
Yes, and one last thing. Okay, Roadium Radio, by this time next year, we're going to be the #1 podcast on the West Coast. Remember this.
Tony, I just want to say I appreciate you bringing me out here, Doug.
Thank you, brother.
I appreciate that.
Are you only saying that because I have the hammer?
No.
Okay.
No, Doug.
Once again, I didn't ask to be Mexican. I just got lucky. Okay. Yo, stay blessed. See you guys Wednesday. I'm going to have the Godfather of Long Beach here Wednesday. You're not going to want to miss it.
Damn, the Godfather.
Yes, sir. And we out. Take us away, Johnny boy.